how do I deal with it?
How do you constantly not worry about something?
So what do we call this?
So why are we born?
Is it an issue?
My sister and I, we were on a trip. She overtook a truck. And the nick of the moment, we were ahead of the truck, but I just felt it was a big risk she took. So, what really is a risk? Do you call this a risk? At the nick of the moment, overtaking that vehicle?
Risk is an action that has a probability of causing a consequence which is unacceptable or unpalatable. So, it could happen anywhere. It could happen on the road, it could happen in your kitchen, it could happen in an industrial setup, it could happen even while crossing a road. Yeah? So, the whole subject is about alleviating the risk, reducing the risk, minimizing the risk, so that the probability of facing an unpalatable consequence is reduced.
But again, in risks, you have some which may not impact you that much. And there are some risks when people take it, their entire life just, gets completely affected, or the whole family gets affected.
It's your perception of what you're doing. Now, I may inherently not be a very adventurous person. And I happen to climb a small hill. Okay, a hill in my city where there are regular residential buildings and there is a proper road. अरे तेरे को पता है मैं हिल पे चढ़ के गया, फिसल जाता ना तो गिर के मर जाता था. Now that is his perception कि उसने बहुत बड़ा risk लिया. And you look at mountaineers and rock climbers, they are actually taking the risk. They are climbing a steep climb, they are hanging by a rope, hung on a peg which is fixed into the rock. वो निकल गया तो गए. और ये बंदा पाली हिल या मलबार हिल चढ़ता है और बोलता है मैं फिसल गया तो गिर जाऊंगा, मर जाऊंगा. तो it is again a perception. I perceive certain things as extremely risky. And somebody says, अरे मैं तो दिन में 1 पैकेट सिगरेट पी लेता हूँ. क्या 1 पैकेट, 10 सिगरेट, 20 सिगरेट? मैं तो 70 सिगरेट पीता हूँ, तो क्या रिस्क की बात है? So the guy who is smoking 10 cigarettes a day feels he is taking a great risk. The guy who is smoking 70 cigarettes a day, क्या बड़ी बात?
True, but what about people who love to take risks? We know very many people who...
That's a thrill factor.
So that's a thrill.
That's a thrill factor. Now you see, sometimes you go to the melas and you have this well of death where the motorcyclist is riding a motorcycle along the walls of a well that is created especially for that purpose. Maut ka kuan, and they will advertise that, Maut ka kuan. And the motorcyclist is going round and round and round. There is a risk he can fall down. There is a risk he can come up to the rim and come out of that Maut ka kuan and the spectators will get injured. So these risks are being taken. But even the watcher is feeling the thrill and even the performer is feeling the thrill. So you are satisfying a need in you for you smoke a cigarette. It's a risk. But you are satisfying a thrill.
So when it comes to risk, we can't really say that you should take or you should not take this. There's no such...
No, there are no rules.
There are no rules.
There are no rules on
when it comes to risks.
Yeah, there will be rules probably in legal sectors like drug manufacturing. So you are taking a risk of manufacturing a poor quality medicine which is going to affect the masses. Yeah?
That's not a done thing,
So that's not done. I mean, you're not going to consume the drug, you're making the other person consume the drug and he's taking the risk on your account.
Absolutely.
Why should he? So me as a government would put a regulation on you that your drug is risk-free or relatively risk-free.
Risk-free,
Yeah, because you cannot sometimes make things absolutely risk-free. The same safe medicine can have a side effect on a compromised patient and that patient may suffer miserably. Well, whereas the masses may not suffer on the account of the same drug. That's why we say contraindications. Yeah, some drugs are contraindicated in certain patients or contraindicated as combination with another medicine. So these are typical peculiar cases and therefore you cannot put them in rules that this is an unsafe drug. You can't say that. It is unsafe in a particular condition. Otherwise, it is safe.
Can risks be good? Sometimes, I mean.
Yeah, it depends on the situations. So, for example, you have a terminally ill person and doctors have given up all hope. And there is an experimental drug which is not yet commercially cleared. Yeah, you know this guy is dying as it is with no hope to live. You can try, take a risk with an experimental drug. Who knows, it might work.
Then there are some people who are so scared to take any risks of any kind. I mean, they live their entire life scared, you know, if I do this, this will happen, if I do that, that will happen. So they're so scared that they really don't take any risk whatsoever. They're trying to be living as safely and, you know, as possible. So what would you say?
Those are the most susceptible people.
Really?
I had a cousin who would come with me for watching a cricket match at 𝐵𝐵 Stadium with 2 thermoses of hot water. And he was always falling ill. Some risk is necessary to be taken in life. Everything cannot be laid out to you in the formulated manner. ये किया तो वो होगा, वो किया तो वो होगा, इसलिए ऐसा करो, ऐसा मत करो. It cannot be formulated that way. Some element of risk is there. I am taking a step forward. What do I know whether this floor will sustain my weight or it will collapse? I don't know. I am taking a risk, even taking one step forward. So, you have to be practical about taking risks. You can't be impractical. मेरे को ज्योतिषी ने बोला है 77 साल तक तू जिएगा. That doesn't mean I'll jump in front of a train. नहीं, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. ज्योतिषी बोला है 77 साल तक जिएगा. So that is being crazy. So yes, risks are there. Some people take unduly large amount of risks unnecessarily just to show off. Zigzagging through traffic on motorbike. You never know when you will slip and you will hit your head against some other object and you might even die on the spot. Why are you taking that risk? Drive safely. And there are people who on a highway where the speed limit is 80 kmph, they will drive at 40. So both are extremes. You have to be practical as far as risks are concerned. There are no formulas about taking or not taking risks.
So end of the day, it's for us to strike a balance. Extremes of anything is not good.